Hey, let's talk about bobbers in today's video. Okay, so you've got all the basics that you need to get fishing, and now we have to deal with this guy. The float, the bobber, the indicator, the thing you put in the water that sits on top. What's it for? Why are we using it? And how? The big question, how? Let's dig in, right? So let's answer the first question. Why do you need a bobber? Well, a bobber does a few things. The first thing it does is it provides an indication that something is happening down there. But the second thing it does is it controls the depth of your bait. You see, without the bobber or the float, your line goes all the way down to the bottom and the bait touches the ground. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad, and sometimes that, well, it just is what it is. And then the third thing it does is it provides buoyancy to whatever it is that you're trying to keep buoyant. Because sometimes you want the thing to float up high, sometimes you want to float down low, and sometimes you want to float not at all. So it all depends on what you need or want for your rig. But when you dig into the different types of bobbers, there are so many, like so many. In fact, I recommend this video because it is very, very intuitive. For this video that we're doing right now, I'm going to cover the very basics. Because, hey, we're all basics. You're a kid, maybe you're a parent, and we need to figure out how to use this. This is your basic bobber float. This is the kind you get at Walmart. This is orange and yellow. You can get them in white and red. You can get them in different colors. But as you can see here, it is two sides. This piece here, I don't really know what this is called. I'm gonna call it the nipple. That sounds kind of... We push that in like this, and out there comes a little hook. Now, that hook goes right onto the string. Boom, just like that, okay? And then on the inside, you're going to see there's another hook. Now, while holding this one down, put my finger right there, I'm gonna push this one, and that piece comes up, right? So now, wrap this around, slide it into there, and ta-da! Your bobber is on your string. But there are other sizes. It's the exact same bobber, just different size. So you might be wondering, why would there be different sizes? Well, buoyancy, that's the thing. Because you might have a rig that has weight on it. And you see there's a line here? That's the equilibrium. You want this line to be right at water level. If it's above it, it's too light. And the fish are gonna pull, they're gonna feel it. If it's below it, it's too heavy. You can still work with that, but too light. You want it right on the middle. So you might have a rig that has a lot of split shot or a lot of weight, and all of a sudden you have the same weight, it's gonna start to sink and it's not gonna do its job. Different size, same exact function. And they have different sizes. Look, this is the same exact setup, just different shape. Different shape. You might ask, why is there an egg shape versus a sphere shape? Well, buoyancy. This buoyancy will be equal all around. This buoyancy will be only good this way. In fact, if it starts to go that way, it will communicate like, hey, your bait is actually on the ground. So when you adjust your stuff, fix it, it'll be right back up. This specific one makes a funny noise. That's so the fish can hear it. They'll be like, what's that noise? Oh, hey, look, something to eat. Oh, it got me. So let's go into the next kind of bobber that's very, very basic. One of these long ones. Oh, my goodness. Now, this here has a spring. Just slide the spring down, and you can see there's a little hook, right? You get this thing and slide it into the string here. Get on there. And that's all you gotta do. It's on. Now, these can be used in a couple different ways. The first way is you put it on just like this. There's your bait, nothing in between, and it sits on the water flat, just like this. And when you see it pop up, boop, that's when you know weight has been added or a fish has bitten on. Now you've got something. Or, boop, and it starts to sink, a fish is on. The other way to do it is when you have a fish that likes to do what's called a negative bite. Negative bite means instead of the fish biting and going down or biting and running away, the fish bites and swims up. It swims negative. It gives slack in the line. So this is why sometimes we add split shot. So we have our bait, you can add split shot, and then it stays like this. Now when the fish bites, it comes down like this, or it goes down like this. Here's another example of the exact same thing. It's just a different shape. Why? Different buoyancy, different buoyancy, different buoyancy. Maybe even you want a different color. Another good reason why you might see different sizes is that when you cast out farther, these small ones are really hard to see. So the bigger ones will help you see that far out. But if you do that tactic, you must come to the understanding that, man, some fish, they pick up on that worm weighs a lot. Something is not right with that worm and they let it go real fast. So these lighter ones are very, very effective when it comes to being finesse anglers. These big ones are very, very effective for being able to see your indication from a distance, right? So that's that. Now, one of my favorites are these kind, right? These have like a little plug piece here and a little hole right there, and you plug it right in. How this works is you either feed it through your line, or in this case, I like to either cut my thing or buy them with the slip. I slide it right in, just like that. It's in now. Then I put it on. Boom. We're done. And then I can slide it up and down just as I need or want. Now, you might be asking, why in the world would I want to slide up and down? Well, remember what we were saying. If without the float, your bait goes all the way down to the bottom, right? But with the float, you can control the depth. And you want to control the depth where the fish are at. You don't want fish above them because they're going to be like, oh, I got to work for this food? Oh, it's way down there. Fish are like us. We are lazy. And for the most part, I'd rather eat something that's, oh, hey, right there, right? Fish are a lot like that. The easier it is to get, the more likely you're going to get a bite. Does that mean that they'll never swim down or up to get your food? No, they will eventually do that, but you're gonna get more bites if you're right in front of their face. Boom, right? Mind blowing. So it goes up and down for that reason. Another good reason you might want to go up and down is because if the water clarity is very, very clear and you were down at 6 inches and that fish is very, very timid and he sees something green up there that's not normally green, he's gonna be like, whoa, that's not right. Last time I saw an orange circle, I got a hole in my lip. So then you can start to begin to lower it until the visibility is no longer an issue. But then that's why you get some that are white, clear, black, because fish cannot tell the difference between a white circle and a bubble. Wouldn't you believe that? They can't tell the difference. No. So these are my favorite. In fact, I have another version of it. Same thing, just smaller. Because I like small. I am finesse. Finesse. Now, this one here, this is the last one. This is actually a bobber stopper. This is a whole different concept. You want to learn about bobber stoppers and slip bobbers and all that? Check out the video there. But I still use these as an indicator. If I know that I'm on the ground and my line is coming all the way top and I have good clarity and I can see this, I will use that to give me an indication that there is something on my line. In fact, there's enough air bubbles on this that it actually floats. It won't hold a lot. In fact, my egg will actually bring it down, but I can see it clearly from where I'm standing. So I will actually use that to give me an indication that something is happening to my line. Now let's talk about how you use these indications, these floaters, these bobbers, right? Because when it's in the water, it might not move at all. When it's not moving at all, in a still water lake situation, that means nothing is happening, right? But if you see like a little bit of ripples, just small ripples from the bobber. That means one of two things. One, there's a little bit of waves coming and it's hitting that and it's causing vibration, or something underneath is just nibbling at it. Just nibbling. That doesn't mean anything. Don't do anything. You gotta wait. In fact, if you even see it kind of moving a little bit, you gotta wait. Wait. If it starts to move side to side or go down a bit, now you're gonna wanna set that hook. Because what happens with fish is they're out there and they see a thing and they come and they're like, ooh, And when they take a bite, they don't just bite on the food. What they do is they engulf all the water, like sucking it, and they push it out of their gills, leaving only the food on the inside. Isn't that crazy? So if it moves a great deal, the entire hook and bait is actually in their mouth, and you can set it. Now, you might not always get it because they probably have only got the tail in or just the one in, or the hook is just right and it comes out. Either way, you want to wait until there's a great big movement. And if the line goes way down, oh, you've definitely got something. It probably even set itself. If it shoots off really, you've got fish on, fit, set that. Be ready. Now notice here that it's just barely moving. That doesn't mean anything. That's just tight. That's light. That's little. All right, he's pecking at it with his nose, just smelling it. Because fish smell, right? They see it. They see colors, and if it's nighttime, they see contrast, right? They're just looking at it. But when you want the bobber to move, you want them to put it in their mouth and taste it real quick. Sometimes it's that fast. They're like, no, ah! And sometimes it's, oh, that's good. That's a real worm, or that's a real egg, or I can't tell the difference what that is, but I want to eat it. And they take it and they swallow it and fish on, right? So be patient, watch for subtle movements, pay attention, but wait for the actual take. Because if you set too early, you're gonna miss the fish, spook him, and he's gone. Goodbye, adios. Now, that's just for lake fishing, pond fishing, still water fishing. These concepts don't really apply to drift fishing or creeks and rivers. But that does it for this video on bobbers. Be sure that like button, comment, and share us with a friend. Until next time, everybody say, bye, Pastor Juan.